Welcome to the GFF headquarters in Carnival East Layout. Um, it's another window, June 2025. This one is a friendly window. It's a competitive matches. The head coach, as usual, Jonathan Mckinstry is here, and he will be holding this press conference to announce his squad, the players that he has selected for this upcoming friendlies. And from there, you will have the opportunity to ask questions, and he will give you answers. Uh, we try to make it as economical as we can with our questions because the press conference is going to run for 30 minutes. Uh, from there, we will bring it to an end. So, without wasting much time, Coach, the show is yours.
Thank you, Babacar. Good morning, or good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming again. So, looking into the June 2025 window, this is a really important window for our sort of short, medium, and long-term development because obviously I've been in position now for a year, and this is the first opportunity we've had to play friendly games. I know everyone always wants to play more test games, but the nature of international football now is there are so many competitive games scheduled that often there is never the window, never the space to play friendly games anymore, unlike 5-10 years ago. So this is our first opportunity where we could have played friendly games, and we're doing so. We're playing against Equatorial Guinea, who are ranked 92nd, and Uganda, who are ranked 89th. So when you consider that as the Gambia, we're currently ranked around 120, 123, it's a good competitive games. They're games that will give us a good competition. They're teams that have been winning football matches. They're teams that if we want a positive result, which we do because it impacts your ranking, we have to play at our best. But if we are not playing well or if we are, below our levels, then both Uganda and Equatorial Guinea are teams that can cause us problems. So they're friendlies that we handpicked, opponents that I requested, and the Federation have managed to secure them. So I'm very pleased with that. In terms of constructing the squad, just to give you a little background information in terms of maybe why we've selected some players before we give you the list. We made a decision that the players who had played an extreme amount of minutes this season, so by that I mean you've played 40, 50 matches for your club this season, and are players that we know what to expect. There's no question marks about you anymore in terms of your performance for the Scorpions. We decided to let those players rest. So it wasn't even they requested it. I said to them. So there was a list of 12 players, the likes of Musa Barrow, Aliso, Yankuba Minte, Omar Colley. These were players that I called and said, look, we're having this camp, but I'm not going to call you. Go and have an extra week's homework because we know what they bring. There's no question marks about these players. Okay? So beyond that, we then wanted to give opportunities to players who maybe have been around the squad to get more minutes for the Scorpions, show what they've got, and also the next generation of talent. These players who are new to the group, and actually in this squad, we have 12 players out of the 23 who have never played for the Scorpions before. So 12 players have not had any minutes for the Scorpions before. Okay. In addition to that, we've had quite a lot of injuries. There's 7 players who might have been in the squad, but picked up quite big injuries in the last 2 or 3 weeks. And because of that, they're not involved. So there's a few like, for example, Abubakar Bari picked up a hip injury last week, not available. So there's a few guys like that through injury not available. But anyway, onto the squad. So for goalkeepers, Ibrahim Ajarju, Babukar Gay, returns to the squad. Jordan Bilali Danso of Girona enters the squad for the first time as our 3 goalkeepers. Defenders, Mamadou Lion and Jai, Sheriff Sinyan, Musa Jata of Aisa Ula, Dembo Saidikan from Vancouver Whitecaps, Alaji Sain of Forsons, Saini Sanyang, CSK Sofia, Omar Gay, Babukar and Jai, and Mohamed Sane are our defenders. In the midfield, we have Mamadou Badjo, Jesper Cisse comes in for his first cap, Alassane Mane, Mohamedou Dramé of Sochaux in France comes in for his first cap, are our central midfielders. And then for the forwards, we have Abdoulaye Bamba Sanyang, Abdoulaye Mane of Mialbi, Yusuf Sanyang of Usters, Jibril Silla of Azam, Adama Sidibe returns in Johnston, Zakaria Sawo of Djurgården, and for the first time in what I'm told 4 years, from the GFF Division 1, Alaji Wali is in the squad representing Hawks. So that's your 23-man squad. Like I said, there's 12 new players in there who've never played for the national team before. And yeah, we're very excited about it. We think it's not just for today, these players. If they show their high performance standards in this camp, they actually can have the opportunity to come back in September, October. But we also think this is us starting to lay the foundations for the next 5 years of the Scorpions as well through this. So, any questions?
Yes. So now time for question and answers. You have 25.
All of these things tend to happen over the medium term. They're not usually one conversation. So we've been in contact with Yusufa we're in June now. So I'd say about 6 months. Probably about 6 months ago when we first had contact with Yusufa. And look, part of it as well is are people deserving of the level? Because just because someone has options available to them doesn't mean you call people into your national team. We don't give away free prizes here. It's about, do you deserve to be involved? And so Yusufa, since moving to Usters, when we look at his numbers and we look at his performance, yes, the team have been struggling, but in his position, he's been really he's had a good season. Okay, you look at him individually, you make some allowances for the fact that the team are maybe towards the bottom of the league. So where he operates on the field is maybe can evolve over time, but he's a very quick player. He's very efficient. So one of the things with Yusufa is when he takes someone on, he tends to go past them. He tends to, so his efficiency is very high. He maybe doesn't have as many ball contacts as other players, but when he gets the ball, he makes use of it well. And the other thing that we like about him is his pressing. He uses his acceleration, his speed, not just for an attacking sense, but also his ball recoveries are very high. So if you look at his club performances, he's one of the highest in his league, in fact, at getting the ball back from the opposition. So yes, he's an attacking player, but his defensive contribution is very high as well. So for a 19-year-old, we like this. Obviously, he's represented Senegal at youth level, but he is Gambian. He is Gambian born and bred. And look, part of it's about us telling players and showing players why the Gambia is a good option for them. But it's also about them wanting it. If there's any player that I have to convince to play for the Gambia, I probably don't try for too long. I'll try hard, but if I'm getting the feeling that they don't feel the love for the opportunity, I'll stop pretty quickly, because I think everyone in this room and everyone out there listening want the people who pull on that red shirt to have great pride in pulling on that red shirt. And so I got that from Yusufa, is that, yes, he wants to play for the Gambia. And so the timing is right because of his performances. That introduced us to the conversation. And then it was pretty straightforward for him to want to come and play. So, yeah, we're looking forward to seeing what he has. But make no doubt about it, he has a lot of competition on that left side of the attack line. So he has a lot to do as well. Deal with Rashid first. Rashid was invited. He was going to be part of the squad, but if you're sort of up to date, he came out of his game last week in the 30th minute. He's twisted his knee, and I spoke to Rashid. We gave him right up until yesterday, but the knee's still giving him pain, and he really wants to come, but it's just like he's not in a position to run without pain at the moment. So it's just super unfortunate. Because, like I said, there were some players who would have been involved in the camp, but injuries happen. So, look, Rashid's a young player. He's doing really well over there. This would have been a great opportunity for him. We think he fits into our 3-4-3 idea very well. But, yeah, he stepped badly in the game last week. It seems really innocuous. It's not even a tackle. He's closing someone down. He goes to put the brakes on, and he's just twisted his knee, and he's had to come right out of the game. So, there'll be opportunities in the future for Rashid. So it's just one of those things. And for Aliu over in Egypt, look, Aliu's playing every game, but the simple fact of the matter is, when we assess players, we look at their performances. And for us, when we look at all of the things that I consider and the staff consider to be vital in terms of that left defense, left wing back position. So things like success in defensive actions. So when you go to press somebody, are you successful winning the ball, disrupting play, or is the player getting past you? What's your success rate in tackles like? What's your success rate in tracking players like? Offensively, how many crosses are you putting in per game? When you're 1v1 with an opponent, are you getting past them or are you losing the ball? And the simple fact of the matter is, of our 6 players who are available for that left wing back position, Aliu ranks 5th or 6th in almost every category. So that's as simple as it is. So he is doing well. We monitor him closely. But the answer is simple. When compared against other players we have available, the other players have higher performance value. And I think everyone would agree that you want players who are performing better to be selected. That's as simple as this. So we keep monitoring him. Obviously, he's not a young player. He turns 30 in a couple of months, Aliu. So he's not necessarily a young player. For example, and you can say to me, well, you put Saini Sanyan in and he's in and out of the squad at CSKA. But that's me banking on the future a little bit because Saini's 21 and Aliu's almost 30. And so I'm sort of saying, well, 1, the numbers tell me to pick this player. But 2, when I'm banking on the next 5 years, I'm going to bank on Saini. Health is inconsequential. I think it's how other people assess it, whether that's the fans or the federation. In terms of how far we've progressed, in terms of developing the team, which is when I look at the process, I'd probably give us a grade B. I'd say we've done a lot of good things. And when we analyze, which we do in depth in terms of our performance metrics, in terms of just so many things. Football has so many ways to assess yourself now. We're doing a lot of positive things. And in fact, when we compare what we consider to be important in how we want to play the game with how the Gambia have played over the last 5 years, the last year has been the best in so many metrics. So in that sense, we're making great progress. But the one area we haven't improved on, which is probably the most important one, is scoring goals. We've created so many more chances, like it's almost a 300% increase in chance creation, but we've stayed the same. We're not scoring less than we used to. We're scoring exactly the same amount from 300% more chances. So that in itself is a frustrating thing, and that's why I say B. If those chances go in, if those 300% more shots on goal go in, you're probably saying it's an A or an A star. But it's not. It's a B, maybe a B minus. So we have to be hard on ourselves to say we're making good progress in many areas, but ultimately football is also about winning, and we've got to do that a little bit more. But we're very confident in the house. Everybody, from me, the staff, players, the federation. I also think a large proportion of the supporters. They can see with their eyes what's going on. They can see the progress that's being made on the pitch. And we're very confident going forward in terms of big success on the horizon. Many challenges here in the game. I think everyone would agree that. You could go from the highest office in the land to the person, watching football in a venue. I think everyone knows that we have challenges that we have to overcome. But when I go out on the ground, the reason I do it is I want to feel the soul of Gambian football. I want to feel the culture and what's happening on the ground. I want to talk to the coaches, to the players, to understand where we're coming from. Because when you understand where you're coming from, you have a better idea of where you might be able to go. And so for me, I'm very positive. I'm a coach's coach. I'm a big believer in coach education. These guys to my right and left will tell you that I'm a big person about development. And the work that a lot of our coaches are doing is very good. They've got a clear plan, a clear structure in a lot of situations. They know what they want to do. And for me, I know the federation, we want to support them more and more, because the better coaches we have, the better players will develop. Okay. We've got a lot of young players. Every transfer window, we are seeing 10, 15 young, talented Gambian players, 17, 18, 19 years of age, move to professional leagues. And it's not that they're moving and sitting in the reserve team. You look at them, someone who's not in the squad, Jibril Suse. He's playing straight away. Rashid went playing straight away. When Yankuba went to Odense, playing straight away. This is not normal. This is not normal. Players usually go, they're 18, and they don't play. But the Gambians are. And so, will we in the future see lots of home-based players featuring in the Scorpions team? We're seeing Aji in this one. I don't think you'll see lots and lots. Why? Because most of the most talented Gambian players leave when they're 18 or earlier. So actually they don't hang around in the league for so long. They go straight away. But it's really important for us to know who's coming on. There was another player, I was talking to Abdullah Bojang, U20 coach, yesterday about it. There's another young player I saw this last week, only 16. And I was like, he's a good player. You should have him. Look at him for the U20s. And I really liked him. And so, yeah, for me, it's about, look, I don't know if that 16-year-old will ever play for me, because football's this crazy life where you don't know how long you'll be in position for. 16-year-old for me. People ask me, why are you going around the Gambia? I'm like, I'm planting trees. I want to plant some trees that in the future will be big, tall trees, and Gambian football can be even better in 20 years' time than it is today. But yeah, I like what I'm seeing. There's lots of challenges, no doubt, but there's also a lot of passionate, enthusiastic, good work going on right now that I think people should have a lot of respect for. I have a lot of respect for.
Yes, ma'am.
So in terms of the friendlies, one of the things that was sort of a personal guarantee given to me by the Federation and the government, and I think it's in some document with the GFF, is that there's a commitment to use all FIFA windows. So to use all FIFA windows, because you don't prepare 1 week before. You know what I mean? You're preparing now for 5 years in the future. You're preparing for the future. You're preparing for tomorrow, but you're also preparing for the future. And so if you wait until you're at an AFCON, at a World Cup, whatever, at any age category, and that's when you start preparing, are you really preparing at all? Or are you reacting? And so preparation means it's done ahead of time. So for us, using all of the camps is really important. It was a personal guarantee I was given when I came in, and I'm pleased that people do, here, I think all of us would like that people do what they say they're going to do. And so it might not have been written in the contract that we play these games, but someone looked me in the eye, shook my hand and said, yes, we will play friendlies. And we're doing it. So people are keeping up to their word, which is good. And what's the point of it? To continue to develop we've done so much development in our playing style over the last year. We need to keep taking more steps in that direction, more enhancements, but also, to bring in blood new players. Because when you're playing an African Cup of Nations or a World Cup qualifier against, Morocco or Tunisia or Ivory Coast, it's not necessarily the best environment to give an 18 or 19-year-old his debut. It's a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. And so sometimes it's to give those guys, it's a bit like when you take your children to learn how to swim. Do you throw them into the ocean with the waves and the sharks? Or do you take them to the toddler pool and let them learn how to swim? So it's a little bit like that for some of the young guys. We bring them in gradually, we understand, they understand us, and we build them up to a higher level. And yeah, look, in terms of expectations are always the same. The expectations are to be successful, in the medium, short, medium, and long term. And, part of my job is to try and balance the short and the long term. I think it's very easy to say, right, we're only focused on the short term. We don't care how we play football. We don't care who's in the team as long as we win. And there's some coaches around the world who do that. And I'm not one to criticize them, because clubs and coaches can do whatever they want. But I'm the coach who says, this is how I believe football should be played. I was on a radio show this morning where I said, I think part of my job is to help young Gambians fall in love with football. So if there's a young 6, 7, 8-year-old Gambian who's watching the Scorpions either on TV or hopefully soon at the stadium again, that they see this team play and go, oh, wow, this is football. This is this wonderful, amazing game. So can we help some young Gambians fall in love with football, with how we play the game? And can we mix that with winning football matches and qualifying, hopefully in the future, winning trophies? So that's the target. We didn't do it this time around. The guys, again, around me will tell you I am the biggest critic of myself in that. I look at it and go, need to do better there, need to do better there. But again, I do it in a very focused way because every day we've got to get better. So that's us. We want to play good football, but we got to win football matches, and we're on the right path. I'm certain of that, but we got to show. Well, what do players expect from me? I think players expect me to help them become better footballers. And that's not just whether you're 18. I think, Omar Colley, Musa Barrow, the senior guys expect me to help them become better as well. So, and that's a really serious job. Can you help someone be better tomorrow than they were yesterday? And look, this camp's a great opportunity. There's a mix in it. There's some young guys in it. But there's other guys who are coming in for the first time, like Zach Asawo, 25, coming in for the first time, doing well at Djurgården. And we're interested to see how he can try and force his way into the thinking when we come into the competitive qualifiers. So make no doubt about it. There's a lot at stake for all of these guys. I'm a big believer that if you are in the shirt, it's yours to lose. So if one of these players on the list, maybe it's his debut against Equatorial Guinea or Uganda, he's playing his first, but if he puts in a man-of-the-match performance, plays brilliantly in defense or in midfield or scores a few goals, whatever it happens to be, he's got a really good chance of playing in September when we play Kenya in Nairobi. Because if you come, put that shirt on, and you play at a level that other people are not achieving, well, it doesn't matter who else competes for that position. It's your position to hold. And so every player on this list has that to gain. And so, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this camp. I'm really excited about it, to work with some of these players for the first time. But even the guys we've worked with before, there's big expectations on them because we're saying, look, you have to be the leaders in this group. You've got to be the guys that guide the young players on their first time. Can you be the role models? So it might be a friendly game, but trust me, there is big expectations on all of the players. Yeah. Yeah. No, guys and ladies and gents, thank you very much again for coming, and thank you for the questions. For me, we're really looking forward to the camp. Like I said before, I think it shows the commitment to medium and long-term development that the government, the GFF, are financing it, and we're going to have a high-quality camp. It's not cheap to run these camps, and coaches are ready, players are ready, even though they're friendlies. And yes, we will rotate players across the two games. We expect to try and win every game. It doesn't matter whether it's a friendly, a qualifier, a finals game. We expect to do everything we can to win the football match. And so hopefully, I don't know if the games are going to be televised, maybe they will be, but hopefully people will be able to tune in and follow the team, and I'm sure they'll be pleased with a lot of the things that we see. Thank you very much.
Thank you.